So, hi and welcome back again to the Programming Bootcamp. Hi, Nora.
Hi.
In this video, in this episode, we are going to talk about Excel files. So we already talked about CSV, and now we are going to talk about specifically about Excel files. Let me share the screen. This one. Right. So, this again, if you look at the chapters, you just have to search for Excel, and that's going to be there. Though generally, I think we are talking about spreadsheets, not just Excel per se. So there are the generic term is spreadsheets. These all these things that look like Excel, but you can also have. I mean, Excel isn't even the original one. There are all kind of these applications that can be used. Some online versions you can use. Some of them you can download. Even CSV files basically are spreadsheets where you have just the tabular data. That's basically the idea. You can have the Microsoft Excel files or the OpenOffice. I don't know if you're familiar with OpenOffice or LibreOffice, which is an open source version of that can handle most of the stuff that people need in a spreadsheet. So what can you do with if you have a Python program, and if you get an Excel file, or you would like to create an Excel file, but a real Excel file, okay, not a CSV file. What you would like to have is something that Microsoft will think that it was created by Microsoft Excel. There is this link here which goes to the Python Excel website of Python that has a list of the most up-to-date modules that provide you these features, because Python, the built-in version Python, as it comes when you install it normally, it doesn't come with any library that can read or write Excel files. Maybe actually Anaconda does, I'm not sure, but the standard Python doesn't. Okay, and then you have to decide which one to use. And here you have a list of a few. There are several because of various reasons, partially because they are older, maybe partially because they handle specific versions of Excel. Today, I think currently the most recommended one is what is called openpyxl. Okay, and that's what we are going to see. But with time, others might come. And also, once we learn about pandas, then we'll see that, yeah, that's another library in Python. Then you'll see that this pandas library has its own way to handle Excel files. So the first example, we're creating an Excel file. So what do we need? We load the openpyxl module. We haven't installed it yet, so I'm going to show you what happens if you don't have it, and then how do you install it. Okay. We also import a module that we haven't seen yet. It's called datetime. That is a generic standard module that comes with Python that allows us to handle dates and times in a relatively easy way. I mean, handling dates and times is really, really difficult, because just think about how would you compute 2 work days from today. It totally depends on not only the date, but maybe the location you are, whether which weekend or not weekend, and so it's a mess. Anyway, we have this module called datetime. We don't use a lot here, but just to have it. The first thing we do is we create a workbook. So now we are creating an Excel file. A workbook is what you have in Excel. That's a representation of an Excel. So I assign it to some variable. It's usually called WB because it's a workbook. In the workbook, you have these worksheets. Okay. I think if you open a new Excel file in Microsoft Excel, it automatically creates you 3 sheets. I don't remember. I think this one creates one sheet by default, but you can add more, and also in Excel you can remove. So it already creates, I think, one by default. then among these sheets, there's always one active. Now, because you only have one, that's the active one. So the way to access that, we call wb.active. Okay, and this points us to the active worksheet. So we assign it to some variable again. And then we can access a cell like A1 and give it a number, or A2, and then we use this datetime module that has itself a datetime submodule that has a now function that will return the representation of the seconds that we have right now. Okay.
Does that mean that it represents the seconds every time you, like, that is right now every time you open the Excel file, or
no, this is
the time of the insertion?
No, this is at the time of the insertion.
Right.
Okay, so this is a representation of the time, and when we assign it to, so this is not the date function of Excel, because the way Excel does it, you put it and embed a function that will compute the date at that time. But no, we are actually putting in the value, which is the current date. Okay, and then so we put just two fields, and then we save it as first.xlsx. Okay, so let's try to run this. This is called create Excel. So I go to the Anaconda prompt. I'm back on Windows, so I can show this one. And I type in create Excel, okay, and I run it. And this is what I get. I get an output that module not found, error, no module named openpyxl, because I was trying to load a module that's not installed yet. So I need to install it, and for that I type in pip install and openpyxl. And I think I already showed this command, but then we already had the module installed, and now not. So now it's downloaded and installing the module. Okay, basically that's what it said. Actually, because I played around it, it already had it downloaded, and now it's just installing it. Okay, otherwise it would look a little different, but at the end, that's what you say. That's what you should say. Successfully installed openpyxl. Okay. Okay, now you see the whole text. Okay, and now we can run the script again, or program, whatever you call. Now it didn't complain, and it created a file called first.xlsx. Okay, if you don't believe me, just remove this file, and then you will see that it can create it again. And I double click on it, and on this Windows machine, I don't have Excel, but I just installed the LibreOffice. And as you can see, the number is here, and there is the date that should be. It looks like 3 hash marks. So any idea why it's 3 hash marks?
It's usually when the cell is not big enough, I think. Right.
So I just enlarge the cell, and it's there. Okay. So in case someone is worried, no, don't worry. That's just because of the cell wasn't wide enough. Okay. So here you have the date. Okay, that we are at the time of this recording. Okay, good. So no, don't save it. Okay, now I can even remove the file. So I just deleted the file. And what I have here is the create Excel. So let's open the file with Notepad++. And here we had a comment. So in this comment, it says WS column dimension to A. So now I'm setting the whole column to some widths, which I have no idea why I put here 20. I guess I tried it, and that's how I came up with the number. So it's now 20. I run this whole thing again. You saw I removed the file, so now it's created again. If I double click on the file, it's opening and it's wide enough. Okay. I don't really know how to know exactly how wide it should be. So I guess I just tried it, and it's now working. Okay. So Of course, you can't do something like this with a CSV file, right? Because it doesn't have really the width of the idea, whole idea. So this width thing is actually some metadata for the Excel file. Okay, what's next thing? So the next thing would be to do something with the worksheet. So here we have, again, creating a workbook, a new workbook, getting the active workbook, setting the A1 element to 42. Then we also can set the title of this workbook to title. Okay, let's try it actually. Let me open it. I think the title is
Isn't
this.
that the worksheet that you're...
Yeah, the worksheet. Sorry,
right.
the title of the worksheet. See, so this is this. It's by default, it's called sheet. And I think it's sheet 1, sheet 2, so I can set the title. I think that's what you see here normally. Okay. Then I create a new worksheet. Okay, that too. Yeah, that's 2 worksheets. Okay, so this is creating a new worksheet. So the workbook.create sheet, and here I assign to some variable, again, just WS2. And there too, I set the title, I set the A1 element, now this time to the time, and I set the top color to some value here, okay? And save the file. So let's run this one and see what happens. So Python create worksheet. So it ran, it created the 2 worksheets. And just before that, let me open the first one again. So you can see that there's only 1 sheet here. That's, if I open now the 2 worksheets, then, so this is the first, this is the second sheet, the titles that we gave them. First and second sheet, okay? The color, so this one has this color now, okay? And the value 42 is in the first sheet, we have the 42. And if I click on the second sheet, I have the date, which is, I mean, we can see that the date is there. It was, I just didn't set it wide enough, okay? So what is this number? Any idea?
I guess it's the, I mean, it was the color of the sheet name.
Like that's right. But what is the number?
it was blue. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's the red, green, blue value, I guess.
Right.
That's
okay.
hexadecimal. So in case, and I wanted to show it in another one, but the color selector. Sorry for the spelling of color. So if you look for color selector or color picker or whatever, you have tons of these, and you don't even have to get to some website because most of the search engines already provide. So this is now in Bing, but Google provides that. And then you can pick some color here. Let's pick some nice one. I don't know, this one. Okay. And then you get the RGB values and in hexa. Okay, so this is the hexa value. So they basically, the RGB is the red, green, blue values. All of them can, each one of them can go from 0 to 255. Or if you represent that as hexadecimal values, then from 0 to FF. So 2 digits. And that's what you have. Usually there is a hash mark at the beginning. Apparently in this code, where is the, sorry, it's here. In this code, I didn't have to add the hash mark, okay? But that's basically RGB. So the first 2 characters is the red, then the 2 characters of the green, then the blue. Okay, that's just taken. So if we go and pick some color and then you copy this one, that's it. Okay. Any questions here?
No, I think,
no, I think it was everything we worked. Okay. What else do we have? Okay, so now these are just values that we add. We also would like to add expressions, just like you asked about the date. So here we have a workbook. We put in 2 values, just 2 numbers, And then in the third field, in A3, we put an expression. So, and then we save it. So let's say expression, let's run this one, Python expression. And then it finished. So I can see there is this expression file here. I open that one. So now we can see the two numbers. And the third one, there is the expression, but of course Excel already calculates it for us. Okay, and then you could also put any of the functions. So basically you can do this. So we just put it in as in the value, as that's the value. Okay. Okay, there are more things that you can do with Excel. So for example, you can format the fields, right? So here we have the same number basically, once in negative, in various fields. And once we also have a date. And then we can start playing with this. So first of all, we set the width. Okay, we already saw that. That's not that interesting. And then you can have the number format, set the number format. And you have all these strings. Now, the first one is sort of human, relatively human. These two, I didn't come up with them, okay? So I didn't have to think about it. I think what I did is I came here, I clicked on Format Cells, and then I went to, I don't remember, okay? Number, somewhere I found it, okay? It's here, format code. Okay, so I picked one from Excel, okay, the one or OpenOffice, okay, this is how I would look like, and then take the format code, and that's what I use in my script. Okay, so I don't have to know the details of what this is. Okay, so we can run this. That's a format field, Python format field. And it created a file called format, right? And then you can see that the same number formatted slightly differently. Okay, so now even more. Okay, sure. So charts. So you would like to create also charts. Okay. Okay, let's stop for a second. So I should have started it from the beginning, saying at the beginning. Basically, this code, what we are writing, you can write it, you can run it without Excel installed on your computer. I mean, I don't have Excel, though I have OpenOffice, but I don't need that even. I only need it to show it to you now that the results, but you don't need it. You can run the same code on a Linux machine where you don't have Excel, or a Mac. Okay, it doesn't matter that this code is just Python. Okay, and then maybe you receive an Excel file and then process it. We'll see how to read an Excel file soon. But maybe you're just writing an Excel file and then creating a report where you put all kind of data, maybe a chart, and then you're going to send it by email, let's say, to someone. We don't see that part, this in email sending here, just the creating the Excel, but that's the whole idea here, that you don't need Excel on your computer and you can run it on anywhere. Okay, so just let's get back now, creating a chart. So what we have here, again, we have the workbook, we have the active worksheet, we set a title. So far, nothing new. Then we have in Python two lists, just A and B, with some numbers in them, and then we go over the length of the list, okay, from index I, and we do it because we have, I think I assume that the two lists are the same length here. So there are some assumptions in this example, but that's only just to fill the data, okay? So what I put here is that I take the worksheet, the cell, and now you see a different way how to insert data. So earlier we set it A1 or A2, just the cell as you would think about it, but you can also address the cells using row and column values. Okay, just two numbers. And then you have the dot value, which is where you have to put the value of the cell. And then it has all kind of other attributes, like I think the format and things like this, right? Actually, how did we do that earlier? Yeah, here we had number format and added there. Here it's just we say dot value we have to access, and that's how we put in the actual value. Okay, so now this is filling the just numbers. And then we take the nodule again, openpyxl dot chart, and pick one of the charts. There are all these various charts that you can use in Excel. And we are creating now a line chart. This again, just an object. We're giving it a title. We telling it where the data comes from. Okay. So first of all, no, we create an object which is representing the data. So we have to combine it. This is the point where we are combining. So we are taking the chart and then adding data to it and some title for that data. But in order to have this data, be able to add it, we have to tell basically Excel where to take the data from. And that's how we do it. So we say that reference these cells. And I think we are saying here on which worksheet. And so I think when you are creating a chart, you have to select some data first and then say, okay, from this create the chart. This is basically the same idea.
I mean, you can do it the other way as well, create the chart and then select the data. But
yeah. Okay. So this is basically selecting the data, and then this is connecting it to the chart. Okay. This is actually what we did first. First, we created the chart, then we added the data, but it doesn't matter here. Okay. So here we are defining where to get the data from, which is just minimum column, minimum row, maximum column, and maximum row, which was taken from the length of the array of the list. Sorry. And then adding to the array to the chart this data, and then adding the chart to the worksheet. So this is how you put the chart somewhere. And we said put it on D1, so it won't hide the numbers. Okay, so and this is called create chart py. And if we try to run this, so Python create chart. And it takes a couple of milliseconds, and then now we have a chart. Okay, so the numbers are there. This is all Excel, so we only created the stuff. So now you can send it to someone. Okay, beautiful graphs. Okay.
And I suppose there is a way to format the charts as well.
I don't know, but I guess that you can access any of the capabilities of Office of Excel. Right. Okay, right. You just have to find out how exactly and what it's way more than I usually do. So
fair enough.
So. Okay, so this is all the writing part, and here I think I have a plain example of how to read an Excel file. So opening the module, I have the name of the file here, which is actually this chart that we just created, and we say load workbook. Okay, I guess that this. So now I didn't have to open myself with open. I just called the load workbook, and I think behind the scene, it opens the file, reads the data. So it does all the magic that we don't have to care. And that's good, because this is a binary file, and I don't know what is the. So actually, these days, Excel is basically XML files zipped. But you don't have to know about it, then that's the point, okay? I don't care about it. I don't have to care about how the details are. So now I have the workbook, and I can go over, for example, the list of worksheets if I'm interested. I can extract the worksheets like this. So it's a worksheet. It's a list. So worksheets is a list of all the worksheets. So I access the worksheet, and then I can access worksheet element A1 dot value, and that's how I get the value out from that field. Okay. So that's sort of a basic thing. Of course, I'm sure that you can ask this workbook or the worksheet where are the data, where is data, if the rest of the cells are empty, and all kind of other things that makes it easier to go over and find all the data. I mean, you definitely have to know more or less the layout of this Excel file, otherwise, but you can read it. So now we're combining the two here. So we are reading the Excel file that we already created earlier, or we just received it from somewhere. Just going over the stars, printing out the titles, the worksheets, printing out the titles. Not very interesting. Here we're taking out the first worksheet and adding, so we have some data and we are adding that to the worksheet, and then creating a new chart, and at the end we're saving it. So this is just basically, I wanted to have an example where I have an existing Excel file, reading it, making some changes, and saving it again. So just that we can see that we can do that as well. And that's it. Basically, that's what I have. I mean, I'm sure that there are tons of other things, and I definitely don't want to have a course on how to create Excel files, because it's generally not that interesting. Okay. So here, I don't remember, didn't go over the Excel, but basically play around with the Excel. Okay. So I think the exercises that they create, I have create series of 10 random numbers. Okay, and put them in the Excel, and then create a graph from it, and try to create a different graph. You asked me if you can format it in a different ways, so figure it out now. That's just play around with it, basically. Okay, I don't have any more deeper exercises here. Okay, any questions, by the way, here?
No, I think it's again pretty straightforward.
Okay, so good. Then we're ending this video now, and then play around with it, and then we get back to the next video for even more. Okay, so thank you very much for watching and being with me. Bye bye.
Yeah.